Well, it is time to look at a book that was by far the best book that I ever read for English in high school. This is House of Mirth by Edith Wharton, and it is published in 1905, one of the great female authors of the time, I would say. And how do I explain the House of Mirth? Well, first you have the main character. Her name is Lily. Lily was raised very rich and very prosperous, but they lost all of their money, and so now when her parents die, she has nothing left, and she, at the time of this book, is 30, and it's just all caught up with her. She's in a lot of debt because she's trying to continue living this prosperous lifestyle that she grew up in, and she thinks that that will make her happy and will fulfill her, but it just ends up running her down and ends her up in a lot of debt. The other main character, and there are a lot of characters in this, it's a very societal sort of book. So, you know, she goes over here and she's friends with these people for a while, and then she gets tired of them, or they wrong her in some way. You know, oh, they said something about her. Oh no, we must go over to these people. And she's basically living off of all of these people, mooching off of their goodwill and their good nature, and yeah, it's very... The feel of this book really drags you down because it's got a lot going on, but at the same time it's very monotonous. And I think that's what I appreciate about this book. It's very nuanced. It brings you into the mindset of Lily. She's the main character, and there are a lot of little side characters. The other character that is really important to know about, and where the book starts off, is this other guy named Selden. Now, Selden, we don't really know that much about Selden, but Selden is a lesser rich guy, and he just kind of hangs out with the rich people, but he's not really rich. He has to work and stuff, so, you know, he's not as great as all of them. But Lily really likes Selden and really thinks that he's a good guy, but she needs to marry rich so that she can continue living this lifestyle. And she tries many times to woo rich men, but just every time she can't pull it off. It's like in the back of her mind, she knows that this is not what she wants. This is not what's going to fulfill her. This money is not going to make her happy. So she can't do it. But she never is able to step away and say, alright, that's not going to make me happy. So I need to try to invest my time in things that are going to make me happy. So it's... I feel that in order to completely appreciate the book, like, it's long, it takes a while to get through, but the ending is so completely worth it, and I'm trying not to spoil it, but the ending just kind of wraps it all up and brings it all together in a realistic way that makes it really hit home what Edith is trying to get across. There's a lot of things about gender roles in the book, a lot of things about the differences between how women are treated and how men are treated in society, but it's also really interesting, you know, this takes place in, like, 1905 New York, very interesting how a lot of things haven't changed about society. Like, you think of that the Victorian era as being very prim and proper, and yes, it was, but Edith makes it very clear that there are a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and there are a lot of things that people actually were pretty willing to talk about, as far as being promiscuous and stuff, and people flirting with other people's husbands, and like there's all this entanglement and crazy stuff. It's just the book itself is a fascinating character study, and it's very carefully crafted to get across its messages and its themes. I wouldn't call it an extremely engaging book. As I said, it's sometimes really hard to follow because you're like, oh, now she's with Mrs. Dorset, and over here now she's with Mrs. Whoever, and then Mrs. Such and Such comes in, and you remember Mrs. Such and Such from 120 pages ago when she stayed with Miss Such and Such, and it's just like, who are all these people? And they don't really have... Lily is the only character that you actually get to know and get to understand. The rest of them are just kind of like... so it's not a really like, ooh, I must find out what happens kind of book. It's more like a book that is brings you into this different world and this different time and allows you to analyze it. And it's especially interesting to analyze it, I think, as time goes on. And now that we are over 100 years removed from this society, it's interesting to see what has continued on and what has not stayed the same. So yeah, that is the House of Mirth. It's not very high on my overall list when I'm ranking all of these books that I'm reading, but it is very interesting to read. It's something that you have to kind of be in the mood for, and you have to be willing to think about. So, that is the House of Mirth. Moving on, we're next week, or whenever I end up putting that video up, hopefully over next week, we will be doing something a little bit more modern. This is Howl's Moving Castle, and I'm excited to talk to you guys about it because it's a very interesting one. So, I'll see you guys later. Bye!